Hey, it is an unstoppable day. It's your boy, Terrance, the Unstoppable Coach Leftridge, with Unstoppable Coaching Services and the host of the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. You know, if it's Tuesday night, it's another episode of the Unstoppable Story Show. So come on in, swipe and share. Come on into the show. We are going live right here, right now on the Unstoppable Story Show. Welcome. Come on, let me just throw this up real quick. Welcome. If you see that scrolling across the screen, then I just need you to follow those directions. You know what it says? Just say hello and tell us where you are watching the show from. We would love to shout you out as we go through this show. I'm going to take a couple of seconds, just make sure that we are broadcasting live and go ahead and share this information out to the masses. And hopefully you will go ahead and do the same. Hold on just one second. We've got a phenomenal show for you tonight, another great episode, and we definitely don't want you to miss it. So please go ahead and take a moment right now to share this show with some other people that you may know that are interested in quality programming, quality live streaming on Facebook Live and social media. Again, if it's Tuesday night, I know you could be anywhere in the world doing anything else. And I'm so grateful that you decided to stop by the Unstoppable Story Show, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. Been doing this for quite some time now, and I think I'm kind of getting my feet wet, really getting it going, really knowing what is happening right now in the world today. And we scour all over social media, all over the country, all over the world, as a matter of fact, to bring you quality programming and to bring you guests that you may not have heard of before, but that I know are definitely going to bless you with their stories of how they've been able to overcome some of their circumstances. And now they are on the other side. They are conquerors. They are walking in their purpose and they are spreading their message with the masses so that they can show you that if they can do it, then hey, you can do it too. So looking forward to our guest this evening, but wanted to take an opportunity again to say thank you. Thank you. I had a phenomenal weekend. Just as a matter of fact, the last 4 days were just off the chain. And I want to start by saying a big thank you to my friend Tennille Jackson of Authors Promoting Success International. Well, it's not even Authors Promoting Success anymore. Beginning in September, it's going to be Artists Promoting Success. Artists Promoting Success International. We had a great time at the APS Book Awards Gala last Thursday evening here in Chicago. It was a wonderful whirlwind event. And if you missed it, then you can just go on back to my Facebook page or go to the APS International page on Facebook and you can see all the highlights. We had book review winners, we had nonfiction winners, we had fiction winners, we had inspirational book award winners, and everybody was dressed to the nines and everybody had their Sunday best on, and it was just a phenomenal event. And I'm so thankful that APS invited me back to be a co-host on the show. You know, we say in the speaker world, it's one thing to be invited, it's another thing to be invited back. And I'm always thankful and I'm always humbled to be invited back to MC events or to speak at events that are promoting success and that are promoting independent authors and independent artists and people with causes. That's what we do here at the Unstoppable Story Show. We do that very same thing. So I'm so glad that they are honoring people as well. So we've got some more events coming up, and I just want to remind you about that in September, I'm going to be a part of another event that I definitely want you guys to understand and know a little bit about. I talked about it last week, and I'm going to continue to talk about it until the event. It is the Power of We. The Power of We Symposium that's going to be taking place here in Chicago on September 20th. Now, this event is a phenomenal event. It is spearheaded by my friend, my brother, Lauren Harris, who has a heart of gold and a desire to show the youth, not just of the Chicagoland area, but youth across the world, that they can be more than what they see in the media each and every day. They can be more than just a statistic. They can be more than just a number. They can be more than just a basketball player or a football player or a drug dealer. They can be authors, they can be entrepreneurs, they can be business people, they can be singers, they can be actresses, they can do a whole lot more than what they've been singing lately. And it's our desire, it's our goal to have 250 young men and women in this phenomenal mansion on the north side of Chicago called the Stand Mansion, showing them VIP treatment, getting them connected with a host of different authors and entertainers and business related people to give them the opportunity to really start off at this point in time, knowing that with the power of we reaching back to them and they reaching up to us, then we can turn these young minds into phenomenal leaders going forward. The Power of We Symposium is going to take place on September 20th. That's next month, little less than 3 weeks away, September 20th, here in the Chicagoland area. And you can get more information about the Power of We if you are interested in getting a ticket to be at the event, if you're interested in being a vendor at the event, if you think this is a worthy cause that you'd like to donate to. All that information can be found simply by going to the powerofwesymposium.com. Powerofwesymposium.com. We're looking forward to seeing your face in the place on September 20th. I swear it's going to be a unstoppable event. And then, if that wasn't enough, again, I am so, when you do what we do as speakers and as podcasters and as motivational speakers, you do it for the passion. You do it for the one. You do it to inspire and impact lives. And sometimes that is all the credit that we need, and that's all the credit we get. But every now and again, somebody sees what you're doing and they want to recognize what you're doing. And this is one of those times. I have the honor to be a part of this phenomenal group called the Black Belt Speaker Group. I talked to you guys about it many times before. And we have connected with this phenomenal, world-renowned speaker and innovator by the name of Dr. Clyde Rivers. And he runs this international organization called I Change Nations. And he recognizes people from all across the world who are doing their part to change the world in their own way. And lo and behold, this past week, I get the message that your boy, Mr. Unstoppable, Terrance Leftridge, has been nominated and awarded the I Change Nations Award, and it's going to take place on October 6th in Kansas City as part of our Black Belt Speaker training event. I'm just beyond words. I'm speechless. It's just something. It's one thing to be known in your backyard. It's one thing to be known on your block. It's even one thing to be known on your city. but to be known in your country and then to be known internationally for making a change. It's just beyond words. And I'm humbled and I'm excited and I'm looking forward to being awarded this wonderful award on October 6th. And I would love if you could be in the house. Yes, indeed. So all you need to do is to register to be a part of the Black Belt Speaker BBS Live event happening October 5th through 7th in Kansas City, Missouri. It's going to be a phenomenal weekend. We're going to teach you how to speak if you've never spoke before. If you are a speaker, we're going to take you to the next level so you too can speak in front of audiences across the world and change nations and change lives at the same time. So if you want more information about how you can get in on the early bird special, and see this phenomenal awards nomination on the weekend of October 5th through the 7th, simply go to www.bbsliveevent.com, bbsliveevent.com for more information. Hey, and you know what I say? I don't want you to meet me there. I want you to beat me there. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. So now, got that out of the way. Hopefully you've got your drink. Hopefully you've got your notes, because we are going to be talking about faith and finance for the remainder of this show. Faith and finance. And you know, this show couldn't come at a better time because your boy has been tested. His faith has been tested, as well as his finances, in the last couple of months. You know, this faith walk, it ain't easy, and our host is going to tell you that, but it is worth it. It has stretched me. It has challenged me. And if you're honest with yourself, it's probably stretching you, challenging you, and testing you in ways you never expected. But every time I think about the challenges and the tests that I'm going through and the financial situations I'm trying to navigate, I go back to a phrase that I used to hear growing up as a child. And it simply is this: if you have faith, why worry? But if you're gonna worry, why have faith? And that is something that we definitely need to be cognizant of in this faith walk when we're dealing with our finances, whether it's trying to plan for a vacation, or if it's trying to plan for a new business, if you're trying to go into retirement, or if you're just simply trying to be a good steward of what God has given you. Faith and finance go hand in hand. And I can't think of any better person to talk to you about faith and finance this evening than the two-time award-winning author and motivational minister herself. She's a lovely lady. She is powerful in her own right, and she's going to bless y'all this evening. Welcome to the Unstoppable Story Show, my friend, Minister Aretha Tatum. Aretha, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Aretha. It's an unstoppable day, girl. How are you?
I am wonderful. Happy Tuesday to you.
Yes. And thank you for taking such a moment out of your busy schedule to hang out with us on the Unstoppable Story Show.
I am glad to be here. I'm
Well,
excited to be here. And congratulations to you on your award win.
well, thank you. You know, a little something. Trying to hang out with the big dogs like you. So
Oh, great.
you've got this powerful book called Faith and Finance, and we are going to jump into it for the rest of this conversation. But here's what I want you to do, Aretha, because some of our audience has never met you before, and shame on them. But for those who haven't, why don't you take about 30 seconds, and you can do far more justice than I can. Tell our audience who Aretha Tatum is.
Well, gladly. I am Aretha, aka Miss Respect Tatum. I am a minister with Free Life, Life-Changing Ministries, and director of Courage Over Fear Productions, which is one of the facets of that ministry. And our mission is to encourage, to educate, and to inspire with faith-based seminars and special events. And I love to live on purpose.
Wow, I love it. I love to live on purpose. And you know, we talk a lot about purpose at the Unstoppable Story Show, and we talk about sometimes it's hard to live on purpose when you're stuck or when you're stopped by life and the things that happen in life, such as our finances. So for you, Aretha, when you hear the word unstoppable, what does that mean to you?
To be unstoppable is to consistently be persistent and patient until you fulfill your purpose.
Oh, wow, wow. No, 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 no. You're going to have to break that down. Say that one more time. To be unstoppable is to.
Consistently be persistent and patient until you fulfill your purpose. So that means, as you said, when you get stuck, when a car gets stuck in the mud, you tend to put it in reverse, back it up, and then push forward. When you are fulfilling your purpose, sometimes you may get stuck, but back it up and remember all the things God has done for you and then push forward. That makes you unstoppable.
I love it. And I love how you said consistent and persistent because, you know, it was two of the tenets that I used in my first book, You Are Unstoppable, the 11 Attributes to Living the Unstoppable Life. You know, first you've got to be persistent. You've got to have what my dog has. She's got that dog to a bone attitude. When she sees something she wants, she doesn't let go until she gets it. But on the other side of the coin is she consistently does the same thing. So I know whenever she wants that bone, this is what she's going to do because she does it consistently. And that's really similar to what you're saying about all of us being unstoppable. It's not something that you can do today and then not do it again tomorrow. It's something that you have to consistently work at being. Would you agree with that?
Yes, but patience is key too, because that's what stops the consistency. It doesn't happen right away, so we give up. So you still have to be patient until it actually manifests.
Love it, love it. So Minister Tatum, what made you be the unstoppable two-time award-winning author that you are today?
It's simple. I follow God's lead. That is what keeps me consistent and persistent, is because it's not my ideas or my doing. I'm just living on purpose is fulfilling the purpose that God made you. So once you seek him and find what that is, find out what that is, and then you stay on course with that. So I've been blessed to do some amazing things only because I've gotten to the place, thank God, that I can hear his voice, and he's given me, I want you to write this book. I want you to write this book. I want you to do this film. And so he amazes you when you find out all the things he's placed in you to do.
I love it. So talk about that and talk about the backstory, because what we love to talk about here on the Unstoppable Story Show is not just where the person is today, but where the person was before and how you've been able to move from your past and to walking in your purpose. So were you always thinking about being a minister? Were you always destined for this, or did Aretha go through some transitions that got her to this point?
No, I didn't. I always said if money didn't matter, what would I do for a living? And I thought that I would be a motivational speaker. That's what I would do for a living. And what happened was I started to use more and more the word of God to motivate people, not realizing that God was pulling me into the direction he wanted me to be in. So it took me by surprise to actually be ordained a minister, but ministry work was already being done because I was starting to use the word of God to encourage and inspire people anyway.
Wow. And it's not very far from being a minister to being a motivational speaker. Most ministers, preachers, priests, pastors, they motivate their flock within the four walls. Motivational speakers, we go in the four walls, we come out the four walls, we'll speak to you in the front yard, we'll speak to you in the backyard, we'll speak to you on the audium, on the stadium, wherever it is. So what just made you decide that the ministry was so much more your platform as opposed to all the other places that you could be speaking?
I didn't decide. God decided.
I love it.
Simple as
I love
that.
it. I love it.
That's why when we say we were called into ministry, that's exactly what happened.
I love it. I love it. So you've got this great book, Faith and Finance, and you said earlier that God was speaking to you. Write the book, write the book, write the book. So what tell us the backstory of how your conversation with God led to the book we're talking about tonight, Faith and Finance.
Well, faith and finance it came about because it's a true story. I actually have a degree in accounting. So I was trained with the world's way of dealing with finances. But once I was called into ministry, God began to show me that no, you don't trust in the money, you have to trust in me. So our trust is the key is right on the back of the money. In God we trust. And that's exactly what we have to do. So a series of events where I was dealing with financial issues and God showed up and showed out. And so once he started to do that over and over again, I said, wait a minute, Lord, I guess I need to write this down and put it in a book to encourage others that it's not the money we focus on, it's him and his direction and what we should
on the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. Come on and show her some love. She is dropping some great information here tonight, and we definitely are going to dig more deeper into faith and finance as we go along. So I love how you talked about you were an accountant beforehand, and then you have been able to go in the ministry, and now you're melding the two together. Do you find that a lot of people that you come in contact with, or a lot of people you may have researched for doing this book, don't see the combination, don't see the collaboration between faith and finance that's necessary?
Some people may see it, but it's hard to see both sometimes, because we have a tendency to look at the money first. And what happens is, I heard one man of God say, and it was so awesome, who is your master? And when Jesus used to speak about you can't serve God and money at the same time, but oftentimes, even when God gives you something to do, we tend to check our bank account to see if we have enough money to open that business or to start that ministry or to do whatever God has given you to do. And then we go back and we tell God, I don't have enough money. And it's like, okay, you needed to get permission from your bank account to get done what God wants you to do. But what he wants you to do is to seek him first and say, okay, Lord, I'm going to do what you would have me to do by faith. Show me the way to do it. Show me where I get the money. Show me who to connect with that might bless me with the money. And then we follow his steps that way.
I love it. So tell us some of the chapters that are in the book. What do you talk about in Faith and Finance?
Well, one of the chapters in the book is actually I do a little bit of both. I talk about from a spiritual perspective and from as an accountant from a practical perspective. The spiritual perspective, I talk about money miracles. People think about healing miracles and deliverance miracles, but they don't think about money miracles as much. Jesus told Peter to go to get a fish and pull the money out of the fish to pay their temple taxes. And God will do supernatural things to get money to you all the time. So I give testimony after testimony of my experiences with money miracles. For example, I remember one time it was kind of tight, and I went to a restaurant to get something to eat, and I said, well, my budget is about $10 for this, and the meal that I wanted, which I wanted to treat myself, was $14 and some change. And I kept saying, No, my budget is $10. I want to spend $10. The woman, I gave her the $14 in the change. She just looked at me. She took two fives, which is $10, and gave me the rest of the money back and got my food. Didn't say a word, and I knew that was God.
And you know, you mentioned, and we've talked a lot about different things over the years, and you mentioned that we get focused on the things, the physical thing that we don't have, instead of focusing on what he can do. And that story is a perfect example of what he can do if you just trust in him and if you just lean on him. You know, I've got my own story, you know, just recently where, you know, I had to put my car in the shop, and there was no if, ands, or buts around it. You know, sometimes there's something wrong with your car and you'll just run it till the wheels fall off, and you just look over the problem. But then there comes those major things that the only way that car is going to work is if you put it in the shop. And I put it in the shop without having any idea how it was going to get paid for. And God opened up an avenue that I had forgotten that I even had, in order to get it taken care of. And it's only because, you know, we stopped, we were still, we really talked to him about which way were we supposed to go, and he opened up a blessing that we didn't even know existed. And it's only because of that faith. And looks like we may have lost her signal. This is live streaming. This is the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. And you know what we say. Every time we are giving some good stuff out there, the devil tries to get busy and tries to take us out. So Aretha, if you are hearing me, go ahead and just try to log back in, and we will bring you back in as soon as possible. So while we're doing that, let me look at some of the comments we have down here. Some of the comments. Thanks, Lady Rochelle Dotson Matheny, for watching. Thanks, Tavia Free Spirit, for watching. It's truly, what Tavia says, it is truly an unstoppable day with Aretha Miss Respect Tatum. Happy Tuesday. All right. So she's back up. Let's bring her back in. Yes, yes, yes. Mic check.
Hey, I apologize. Technical difficulty.
Hey, you know, you are not the first. You will not be the last, Miss Minister Tatum. I tell everybody, every time we are giving out great information, every time we are living up to the title of this show, Unstoppable, the devil tries to throw something at us to prove that the show really is what it says it is. So we ain't gonna stop just because you got knocked out. We're gonna let you come right back in. And here you are. So thank you so much for popping back in. You had shared your example, and then I shared my example of how our faith helped us find the finance. So what are some of the other chapters that you touch on in the book? All right, mic check, mic check. Okay, he's really going to try to get us tonight, but we're not going to let that happen. So I just want to let you know that Miss Aretha Tatum, as she mentioned in her bio earlier, she's not only an author, she has produced and created a mini film, a feature film that we'll get her to talk about before the end of the show. So she is doing great things to the glory of God, and she is really sharing this information with you guys so that you guys can know that if she can do it, then you can do it too. Aretha, are you back? Aretha, can you hear us? Mic check, mic check. Okay, we can see you, but we can't hear you. Mic check, mic check. Aretha, can you hear us? Okay, I can hear something in the background, but we can't hear you. So, Aretha, go out and come back in, okay? We are going to drop her back down, see if we can get her to log out and log back in. I tell you, he is really trying to make it happen tonight. So while we are waiting for the internet connections to act right. Hey, if you know of a time where you have been struggling with your finances and you have called on faith to make it happen, we'd love to see your comments in the comment section. So just go on, put it down there in the comment section. Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Aretha, can you hear us? Mic check, mic check. Can you hear us? Okay, so yeah, she's gonna go back in. Hey, Shamir Mallet, thank you, thank you. We are talking about faith and finance with Minister Aretha Tatum. She is experiencing just a little bit of technical difficulties, but you know, we unstoppable. We ain't gonna stop, won't stop, can't stop. Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Aretha, can you hear us? Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Can you hear us? Okay. So we got a picture feed, but we're not hearing her. So we're just going to keep on moving, keep on moving. Go. We're going to ask you to log out and log back in, Aretha, if you can. Did you guys cover the chapter What's in Your House? No, we didn't get a chance to cover that. It sounds like it is a phenomenal chapter, and we are definitely going to try to get her back up so that we can hear her talk about that. So let's see, let's see, let's see. Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Aretha, can you hear us? We are not going to stop because we just can't stop. This is too good. This is too good. Definitely want to hear what she has to say. We can kind of hear her in the background, but can't hear her voice. Let me see if she's got her other phone on. All right. Mic check, mic check. Aretha, can you hear us? Okay. All right. Well, this happens. This is nothing like live streaming to really test you. So we are definitely talking to Aretha Tatum. We're going to get her back up after we get these technical difficulties out of the way. But you're watching the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. Faith and finances. And one of the things that she talked about in the Faith and Finances book is that whatever your situation is, you need to seek God first. Too many times, as she's just said, as she just alluded to, when it comes to our finances and us trying to do something, we look to our bank account first before we look to God, and not recognizing and sometimes not realizing that it's God who put the finances in our bank account to begin with. And it is God who is able to do miracles that even money can't buy. Too many times we think we can't do something because we don't have the money for it, but God has a way of turning people's hearts around and turning people's thinking around so that you may find that you're going to receive something and it doesn't cost you anything, just because you decided to trust in him, just because you decided to take that faith walk. You had that faith of a mustard seed. It's just itty bitty seed faith right there is all you need sometimes to make it through. Let's try this again. Let's see if we can get them back up into the room. Okay, they have logged out and they are logging back in. But it's that mustard seed faith. It's that mustard seed faith that can allow you to take $5 and turn it into 50. It's that mustard seed faith where you find that you only have a dime and a nickel in your pocket, but you still get blessed with the meal. It's that mustard seed faith that even though you think you can't afford to do something, then a good Samaritan comes out of nowhere. Have you ever been in a toll booth and you just couldn't find enough change to pay that toll, and you didn't know what you were going to do because you couldn't get out of the line because traffic is behind you? And then the next thing you know, you pull up to the toll booth operator and they just wave you on through. Why? Because the person in front of you has already paid your fare. They say your cost has already been paid. Jesus paid the price for our sins. The cost has already been paid. So if he could do that for us, then imagine what he can do with your finances. Yes, indeed. Yes. Shamir Mallett says, yes, mustard seed faith. Thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and swipe and share as we continue to try to get our guests back on the show. But while you're out there, go ahead. If you have an instance of when you really called on your faith when your finances was low, we would love to share your story. Put it on in the comments right now, and we will definitely put it up on the feed. And Tavia Free Spirit says the blessings of what you already have in your house. That's so true. That's so true. I've always dreamed for a bigger house. I've always thought about having a house that overlooks the ocean front with the white silk blinds and curtains, and the breeze is just blowing off the ocean through the windows, and the hardwood floors, and it's just all bright and sunny. But when I look at my bank account usually says not there yet. But when I look at what I do have, when I look at this studio for the Unstoppable Stories that I was able to create in my house, then I can simply say, you know what? I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. And that is, I think, what Minister Tatum is going to say to us when you talk about the blessings of what you already have in your house. Because there are many of us that don't have a house. Many of us, we have a home, but it's not our house. It is not ours. We are renting from somebody else. We are making somebody else rich. We haven't found the richness of ourselves. And Tavia, she can tell you about how now she is helping people invest in their own houses so that they can truly live the American dream. But before you can go to the next level, you've got to be thankful for what you already have. That's the definition of stewardship, being grateful and thankful for what you already have. Because when you are a good steward of what you already have, then you'll find that he'll give you more, and he'll give you more, and he'll give you more, because you've not only been a good steward of what you've had, you've been grateful and thankful for what you have. All right, we're going to try again to bring Minister Tatum back up. 3 times a charm. Come on, Minister Tatum. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Can you hear us, Aretha?
I can hear you. One for the Father, one for the Son, and one for the Holy Spirit. Woo-hoo!
The blessed Trinity. Come on back. Oh, I am so glad. Like I said, you know what? We may be yielded, we may have obstacles thrown in front of us, but this is the Unstoppable Stories Show, baby. We don't stop. We won't stop, because your message about faith and finance is too important for our audience not to hear. So while you were trying to get back in, Tavia said that we needed to ask you about the be thankful for the blessings in your own house, which is one of the chapters in Faith and Finance. So go ahead and give us the Minister Tatum verbiage on why that chapter is so important.
It is. Oftentimes we look outside to see where the blessings are, but the treasures are inside. It could be things in your house that you don't even use that are valuable to someone else, that can bless you financially. And we think of it as junk, but one man's junk is another person's treasure. The other thing is this: when I say in your house, I'm not only talking literally where you live, but physically in your spiritual, your body, your house. There's gifts and talents that are in you that you may not have tapped into that may be of value to someone. If you're naturally creative, somebody who needs an interior designer or needs a web page design can use your skills and it's valuable to them. Or if you're a great cook and someone who could use Meals on Wheels, your version of it, they can eat your food and you can bless a senior citizen or someone else who would be willing to bless you as a result of it. So don't only look at the physical things in your house, but what God has placed in you. A lot of times we don't take inventory of all the gifts and talents that God has given us. And once you take the time to take the inventory, you will find that you are rich in the gifts that God has given you.
I love it. I love it. Aretha Tatum talking to us live on the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. Thank you so much. Let's see. We got some more comments in here. We've got Mary Hale that just joined the show. Hello, Mary. Thanks for joining us. Tavia says, amen. You know your girl is here to support you. For real, Tavia Free Spirit. Miss Bling 10 herself. Definitely. You know what? Now, we didn't really talk about the subtitle of the book. And the subtitle of the book is Trusting God Throughout a Financial Wilderness Season. So why is it so important not to just trust God all the time, that's the truth, but why is it especially important to trust him throughout your financial wilderness season?
The reason why I say throughout and I emphasize that is because most of us are good for a little while. And I'm trusting God. God's going to make a way, but then after some time has passed and they don't see the manifestation of the blessing, then they start to get weary and thinking, well, God's not answering my prayer. And, depending on what they're dealing with, they get angry at God and saying, well, God said he was going to be there for me, but he didn't do what I needed him to do. It's not over yet. You got to trust him throughout, because once his hand moves, it's already done. You just got to be patient until the manifestation of the blessing.
And, we're going to keep coming back to that word patience, because especially in finances, especially when you are dealing with something right now, it's hard to say right now and be patient at the same time. And you talked about your gifts within. Many times we're looking for someone to give us something instead of looking to what we can give to someone else to help us through our financial mess. And that's a change in the mindset, isn't it, Aretha?
Yes, it is. Oftentimes, faith without works is dead. So it's something on your part that you need to do. And I often say you either need to sow or sell. It's something you can sell. Stop holding on to material stuff. Something you can sell to bless you, or something you can sow, meaning giving your service, giving even a little bit that you do have financially. You can bless somebody else and God can multiply it. So sell or sow. You still have to do something.
I love it. And we talk about the fish and the 5 loaves of bread in the greatest book ever created, the Bible, and how they were able to feed multitudes and multitudes of people off of a little. And we've all got to recognize that when we're dealing with our faith and our finances is that, when you give, it shall be given unto you. I've seen it time and time again. I may have $5 in my pocket and I'm walking into a Walgreens or a CVS, and then there's that person right in front of the store. Brother, can you spare some change? And no sooner than I give freely of the little that I have, many times before the end of the day, there's some blessing that comes back. And it ain't always financial, but it may be something that I needed that I didn't have to pay for. Something that I needed that I didn't have to buy. Something that I needed that took the place of what it was that I thought I needed. Have you found that to happen in your life, Aretha?
Oh, absolutely. Over and over again, where most of the time you don't really see it coming. That's the thing too. Do not Stop expecting God to put you in awe of him. So you can do one thing and expect that it'll happen or think it's going to happen one way, and God can bless you a totally different way. I always say, and I mention it in the book, don't miss the shift. If God has blessed you one way before, I got fired from my job, and the next time, and then he blessed me with another job, and then the next time he may lead you to start your own business this time. So don't always expect God is going to do it the exact same way. Don't miss the shift. Just keep seeking him for in this season, because it's a seasonal thing for everything. What should I be doing in this season?
All right. So let's jump into it some more. And we're going to take some extended time since we had some technical difficulties. That's the joy of having your own show. So we're going to extend it beyond the 8 o'clock hour. So the 9 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central time author. So hour. So feel free to take your time. We really want you to get out your message as far as this book. So talk to us about another chapter in the book and what's important about faith and finance.
Yeah, well, the practical side of the book, because I am an accountant, I talk about budgeting. That's also what's in your house. The money that you get in your house, are you a good steward over that as far as making a budget? You should know when you get paid exactly what that money is for. Not, oh yeah, I'm going to pay this. You should have a plan. You always should have a plan. The Bible is a plan. Your life should be planned out in the sense that you're getting in X amount of dollars. You should know exactly what that's going to be paid for. There are things, expenses like in the city of Chicago where you have to buy your city sticker and your state sticker. It's not a surprise. You know that you're going to have to pay for these things. So you plan and put a little bit away before the due date so that it won't be a big hit at one time. And one key thing that we keep forgetting, that income tax check that you get is not just to splurge on everything. Use it to help you get ahead so that you're not living from paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. But again, keep in mind, when it ends don't meet, you still got to know that God will still make a way.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And you got to recognize that check ain't free money. You have already paid into it. It's just giving you back so that you can do something different with it. That ain't the time to go to Shoe Carnival or DSW or plan that vacation that you're going to still be paying for 2 and 3 years from now. Use that in a strategic way that's going to help you decrease your expenses and raise your finances. You talked about budget, and for some people, budget is a foreign word. So from an accountant's point of view, just tell us what a budget is.
It is a detailed plan of your expenditures. The money that you're going to spend on expenses, you plan it out. So if you know how much your check is going to be, you should know exactly what you're going to spend it on. You should know how much your bills are for that month. Write it down, plan it out. Another thing is know your billing cycles. Billing cycles is what companies, the period that they use, okay, every 30 days, every whatever days, we're going to bill you on what you use. So you should know in general your cutoff so that you know that, okay, I know about what time to expect this bill, that bill, whatever. You should not be surprised by most things. And even the things that you are surprised about, one key thing I talk about, which people don't think about it, put a little bit aside. I call it cushion. And if you put $2 to the side, which you're like, well, $2 is nothing, and don't touch it, and keep putting $2 to the side and don't touch it, it will build over time. What happens is people think that, oh, that's not enough, so they blow it on something frivolous because it's only $2. But right. That could have been an opportunity to start building up some cushion for you for the hard times that you didn't expect to come.
I love it. So would you say Faith and Finance, the book, is just as needed for our Christian family as well as the secular family? Do you think everybody will get something out of this book?
Oh, yes, everybody. it's amazing that we have all the principles of how we're supposed to act, and the Bible has the financial principles, like you mentioned, Luke 6:38, give and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together. But the thing is, it's one thing to know it, and it's another thing to apply it. So the book is a benefit for both, because it reminds you to actually apply the principles of trusting God and being a good steward over the finances you do have.
Oh, I love it. Again, we're talking to Minister Aretha Tatum, the two-time book award-winning author, and she's talking about her current release, Faith and Finance. Go ahead. I got the picture of the book up there, but show them the physical book that you got right in front of you.
Bam.
The blueprint right there. How many chapters are in the book, Aretha?
Actually, it's not a big book. I always call my books an appetizer. It's a quick read to spark and ignite your faith.
Ah, I love it. I love it. So we've got some comments in the room. We've got Shamir Mallard, the motivational minister, the melodious minister of motivation, as I like to call him, out of McAllen, Texas. He says, yes, application is the key. And then Tavia is saying she has had that kind of energy all her life. Pure joy from the Lord for real. Boy, I tell you, stop it, Tavia.
Thanks.
And I love, many times people think a book has to be 100 pages, 200 pages to make an impact. But you're saying your book isn't that many pages, but it's still impactful. Yes?
Yes, and that's because you know what? There's a certain audience for every author. And I am not one that typically reads big books. And so it's amazing that the books that God has given me to write are the same way. There's something that I can read on the train on the way downtown or wherever, where I can just get me all I need is just a dose of inspiration and I'm gone. So others who just need a little pick me up, a little dose of inspiration, those are the type of readers that usually really enjoy my book.
I love it. I love it. And, a lot of people don't seem to think that you can learn about finances or you can get that financial roadmap from the Bible. So do you quote scriptures to back up some of the practical financial things you talk about in the book?
Oh yeah, every book I write, because it's God inspired anyway. He starts the Holy Spirit will give me the scriptures to put along with it. So you will never pick up one of my books and not see scriptures all throughout it, because the Bible is a life guide for us anyway. So it's gonna affect us in all areas and aspects of our lives, and finances and health and every area. So definitely, anytime you see a book with Aretha Tatum, you're going to see some word in there because it's coming from the word.
I love it. So we already talked about giving and shall be given unto you. What are some other spiritual scriptures with a financial platform that our audience should be looking at and reading?
Wealth and riches are in my house. We talked about the house and having it. And believe it or not, it doesn't sound like it's financial, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. People they keep forgetting that the first step is always to seek God, and then let him guide you into whatever it is, whether it be your finances or relationships or whatever it is. It's always the first step is to seek him first.
I love it. This is some good stuff. I told you guys she was worth the wait. She was worth the technical difficulties, and God gets all the glory, and the devil is just kicking himself again. This information that we are putting out there this evening. And while we were going through the technical difficulties, I did mention earlier that, when you said that we tend to look at our bank account before we decide to do something that God has told us to do, when it's God who is putting the resources into the bank account in the first place. We as authors, we as speakers, we as entrepreneurs, we are always saying that if he gives us a vision, he will give us the provision. And that's so true when you talk about this book, Faith and Finance, right?
Right, that is exactly right. What the problem is we tend to use that, what I call the pronoun I. I don't know how I am going to do this. I don't know how this is going to happen. And when you overuse, if you find yourself using the pronoun I too much, you need to stop, step back, because God is going to be the one to make a way. And there's no I in God.
I think that's a tweetable. Oh my God, there is no I in God. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, talk to us about one more chapter in the book, and then we are going to come down the home stretch on how they can really get this information and get this book and get a closer encounter with Aretha Tatum. So hit us with another chapter in the book.
Well, also in the book, I kind of hit home. I said, is money worth lying or dying for? Too many times, because of the value we place on money, and we talking believers as well, we can go back to the income tax, where you lie and you cheat on your taxes. Why? Because most people do it because they're either trying to save money or obtain more money. But at the end of the day, when you do anything for money and try to justify it, you've crossed the line. You're not in faith anymore. You are back to that I again. I think I need to do this. So you have to be mindful of that you don't want to dishonor what you know about God by saying, you know what, he'll understand if I have to cheat or lie to get money, because I need this money and I got to live. So I got to do whatever I need to do to live. But God, that's not trusting God. If you're trusting God, then you're not going to lie, cheat, and steal to get money and say, well, God, that's what I had to do to survive. That's not trusting him. You're not exercising faith when you do that.
But Aretha, God knows my heart.
And he can deliver you from the delusion that lying, cheating, and stealing. Hallelujah.
Because somebody was saying that. So when you were going down that road, somebody was saying, God knows my heart, and I just had to do it. I didn't have no other choice. But really, that is the perfect example of how when we lose our faith and we don't have the patience to see it through. Too many times we or I want to figure out the problem. I want to come up with the solution when the solution is not mine to come up with to begin with. It's his. And we lose sight of that, and we are part of an instant gratification world. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, but you know what? I got to be honest and tell you this. Some of this that God has given me it was a result of me getting my behind spanked a time or two from the Lord because I didn't exercise my faith. A perfect example was there was a time when our money was tight and I had an automatic payment that was to come out of my bank account. And I said, oh man, I need that money, but I can't afford to have them take the money out. So I called the company and tried to negotiate, and say, hey, could you not take the payment out this month? And, and we work something else out. And then the person said, no. I said, let me speak to a supervisor. And I talked to the supervisor, and the supervisor was like, I'm sorry, we can't, we're going to take the payment. And I got off the phone and I said, oh, later, I should have did it first. Lord, what am I going to do? And the Lord told me clearly, use the money in your account. I said, but they said they're going to take it out. And he said, clear as day, who are you going to listen to, me or them? And what I said, oh, okay, Lord. And I got the money, got what I needed. And they didn't take the money out of the account that month either. So God is in control, but we got to learn to trust him.
Yeah, and that is it in a nutshell. Learn to trust him. And speaking from a male's point of view, which I am, that's some of the hardest things to do because we've been reared to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps, to be that self-made man. And for us to defer from what we know and to trust in the unknown it's pretty hard, and I ain't gonna lie, it's a struggle that I face each and every day. I listen for the voice of God, but sometimes it ain't always clear because I don't recognize that the voice of God could be Aretha having a conversation with me. I ain't trying to hear what Aretha had to say, and not recognizing that, yeah, it was God who was talking to you while you were waiting for God to talk to you.
That's right. That's right. A lot of times, sometimes people don't even seek God because they really don't want to hear his answer, believe it or not, to be honest.
Yeah.
Then, because if you heard what he said and then you don't do it, then you're walking into disobedience. And you don't want to feel like you're disobedient. So you just say, well, let me just handle this myself, and I'm not gonna seek the Lord for what to do. And then when it doesn't work out, guess what? You're gonna end up coming back to him anyway and saying, Lord, what do I do?
Yeah. And the thing about God, God is a funny God. He will let you do what you think you want to do just to show you that you need to do what he told you to do in the first place. So, yeah, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But here's a question for you. Why, out of all the financial books that are out there, out of all the how you can clear up your credit, how you can get rich quick, how you can do this, do that from a financial standpoint, why should someone purchase Faith and Finance by Minister Aretha Tatum?
Why? Because the key to this book and what makes it a little different, a lot different from a lot of financial books is the subtitle, Trusting God Throughout a Financial Wilderness Season. This is encouragement to build your faith when you're going through a financial wilderness season, when things are not meeting, to remind you that God can do a money miracle, but it takes you to believe that he can do it and expect him to do it before it will manifest. So that's why it's different. I do talk about budgeting and being a good steward over your money, but the main focus of the book is to realize that God is a supernatural miracle working God. And even when you don't have it, he can make a way for you to get to the next step. The children of Israel were in the wilderness. He gave them manna. They had no bank accounts. They had no friends with money. All they had was him, and they made it. So if he can do it for them, he's the same God. So he can do it for us too. So this is for people who are going through or people who have been through, just to remind you that you got to seek the Lord because he's with you every step of the way.
Mm, 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 mm. I love it. I told y'all, I told y'all, I told y'all. Minister Aretha Tatum is bringing the truth. You thought you was going to get some spreadsheets, you thought you was going to get some workbooks, but it really is that simple. First seek ye the kingdom of heaven, and all will be given unto you. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and he will supply your needs. It's so simple, it's scary. But you ain't got to be scared. All you got to do is get a copy of the book Faith and Finance by Minister Aretha Tatum. And so, Minister, how can they get a copy of this next bestseller from Minister Aretha Tatum?
Well, all my books are actually available on Amazon. And so you can go and get Faith and Finance, and then the two award-winning books, The Problem with Jesus. No, I don't have a problem with Jesus. That's the title. And The Wonderful Counselor, My Sheep Hear My Voice. They're all available there, and also at APS Books and More, and Saving Grace Bookstore at Apostolic Faith Church in Chicago.
Cool. I love it. And we would be remiss if I let you not get out of here without giving us your signature sermon in under 60 seconds. So we are going to leave the Amazon information up there. But ladies and gentlemen, you are about to be in for a treat. It is Minister Aretha Tatum in the sermon in under 60. Take it away, Aretha.
I am Aretha Misrespect Tatum with your sermon in under 60. First Samuel, the 17th chapter, is a young man named David, and he was facing a giant named Goliath. Now, David did not fear Goliath. Why? Because he had dealt with a lion and he had dealt with a bear, so he was ready for Goliath. Why? Because he knew God was with him. So he just took a slingshot and a stone, and bam, he hit Goliath in the head, and he went down. After that, he cut off his head. What is the lesson in this? No matter what challenges you face, don't worry about what's ahead of you, what problems or issues you have ahead of you. As long as God got your back, you are unstoppable. This is Aretha Misrespect Tatum with your sermon in under 60. Woo-hoo!
Bam! Drop the mic. Oh my Lord. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Look at here. Look at here. Minister Aretha Tatum. I love it. I love it. If God, as long as you know God's got your back, you are unstoppable. Yes, 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 indeed. Listen, you know what? I'm calling you minister on this show, but you know, me and you, we like tea in a teacup. I just love you, and I love how you just overflow every time we come together. And you don't do it just for me, you do it for everybody. God has truly blessed you with some amazing talents, some amazing abilities, and some wonderful gifts, not only from the book, but from the production, from the movie production. Tell us a little bit about the movie that you just had. You just won the award at the festival for.
Oh, wonderful. Another project that God gave me is called Through His Eyes, the Insight of Bartimaeus. And the short film actually takes you into the life of a man named Bartimaeus in Mark chapter 10. And on the day that his life changed forever, his face changed his life forever when he had an encounter with Jesus.
So you are not only doing it in written form, you are putting it up on the big screen as well. How can they see that short film?
At the moment, because I'm still doing film festivals, they have a thing where you can't have it released yet. So all they can do is follow me on my social media pages, which I'll give you shortly, and you'll get the updates when I totally put it out there.
So that means we're going to have you back on the show once it's fully released, right?
Yes.
Good. Well, you know what? Thank you so much again for taking time and going through the technical difficulties to be on the Unstoppable Story Show. Y'all don't know how much she's gone through in the last 36 hours to make this happen. But that just shows your dedication. That just shows your passion for what you're doing. And I'm just glad to say I know you and you are a friend. Thank you, Aretha. Do you have any last words for our audience?
Push your way through. Again, as I said, to be unstoppable, it takes persistence and patience until your purpose is fulfilled. So if you're having a financial struggle, a health struggle, whatever issues you're dealing with, know that he will hear and answer prayer, but you're going to have to keep going and keep saying and keep staying in faith.
Love it. Minister Aretha Tatum, check her out, her books, Faith and Finance, plus all her other books on Amazon.com. Just look for her name, Aretha, like Miss Respect. We're giving all honor and rest in heaven, Aretha Franklin, but you left another Aretha down here that is just as powerful and gets just as much respect. That's my girl, Minister Aretha Tatum. Now, how can they reach out to you? They can't wait for the book. They're going to buy the book tonight, but they want to have a closer relationship with you, a closer encounter with the minister. How can they get in contact with you?
Oh, they can reach me on my Instagram, which is at Misrespect1. And every Sunday, I upload a sermon in under 60. And also, Facebook is Misrespect Speaks. My YouTube channel, Misrespect Speaks. And Twitter is at Misrespect1. So they can always reach out to Misrespect and get inspired every Sunday with a sermon in under 60.
I love it, and you guys heard it here live tonight. So if you heard it, if you heard this one, then you definitely have to tune in each and every Sunday on her social media pages to hear the sermon under 60. Thank you so much, Aretha. I'm gonna send you back down to the green room, please. You know, I got some collard greens down there just for you. Leave the mustards for me because brother ain't ate yet. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
And while you're down there, make sure you just put your information again in the comment section so that our guests can reach out to you at a later date, okay?
Thank you. Woo-hoo!
Don't hang up, okay? Just stay. I'm
All
just
right.
All right. All right, you guys. That was Miss Respect herself, Aretha Tatum, talking to us about faith and finance on the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. Well, that's a wrap, you guys. Thank you again for being here, for being loyal viewers, for being a part of the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. You know, this show doesn't work if you're not here. You are the people that have followed me throughout the years, and I appreciate you. You are the people that really bring our guests home and really give them the opportunity to share their message and walk in their purpose. So thank you for continuing to show up and share the unstoppable stories. And if you know somebody else who has an unstoppable story and you think they'll be a good guest for the show, then simply just reach out to me. Go to info@unstoppablecoaching.com and share that information. I'm going to put it up real quick. I talk faster than I type, so hold on a second. Here we go. Go to info@unstoppablecoaching.com. Have them give me a little brief information about their unstoppable story. And who knows, you or your friend may be the next guest on the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. But let me just leave you with this. You know, when you talk about faith and finance, it's like I said, you know what? Know who your source is. Your source is the one who provides your finance. And if you have faith in your source, then your finances are going to work out fine. Because why? Because here's what I know. Since he is unstoppable and I and you are children of God, then what does that mean? That means that I, as well as you, are unstoppable too. So go in peace, go in God, remembering that the faith of the mustard seed is going to lead you to better financial situation in your life. And wherever you are in the world today, you know what I say. Don't just make it a great day. You go ahead and you make it an unstoppable day. And we'll see you next week on the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. Take care.